buddy. Yep, good job. I know. So while Mesh kind of acclimates to this room, I'm going to go over briefly what we learned about each other today and what I introduced to him as a new skill. Keep in mind that this is day 1. So what you're going to see here is not a miracle in action, but it is progress. And when we're working with dogs that are lacking in confidence or have some generalized anxiety behaviors, it's the small steps forward. Those are the wins. And we want to continue to see those small steps forward with patience and consistency so that we don't overwhelm them and accidentally take 3 steps backwards in our confidence building process. So, step 1 was figuring out what really motivated Mash today. He didn't really care about the treats that I had in my pocket. I tried dry kibble, I tried some moist softened treats. That was not of interest to him. Even once he got comfortable with me and was willing to investigate the cookies, he'd take them and then spit them right out. So what we learned is that affection was the real key to getting him motivated to try things and do things with me. Mesh. Yeah, good boy. And you can see here, he's still not quite comfortable in this space, so he's choosing to freeze. He's got these stress yawns going, which I know you noted this morning. He's also not really wanting to make eye contact with me. That's a very subtle form of avoidance behavior. And so I want you to keep an eye out for that kind of behavior when you're at home with him or when you're out on a walk together. If he is refusing to acknowledge something that's like very, good boy, there you are. Thank you for choosing me, sir. Thank you very much. Yep, good boy. Yep, good job. Good job. If he's choosing to visually avoid something by not making eye contact with it or focusing on it 100%, that's a very subtle stress indication that needs to kind of get logged in your head, like this, whatever this is in the environment he's uncomfortable with. So I need to try and work through that. Now that he's kind of acknowledging my existence, Mashy man, are you still sniffing around? I want to show you the new skills that we introduced today. The first is what we call a marker. So this is basically a cue for him that he's done something right and he can expect a reward from me. The marker that I introduced today is yep, that's Y-E-P, very similar to yes. I just like to tag a P on at the end. Yep. Yep, good boy. And that means that he's getting some sort of reinforcer for that specific behavior that I just captured. So his reinforcer of choice is affection. He likes having hands on him with people that he's comfortable with. So what I did was I would say, yep, and just move to touch him and give him scritches. And then I step away. And if he chose to move towards me, like he says, no, not right now. You're trying way too hard, Miss Laura. I'm not quite comfortable yet. You gotta give me a second. So since he's not willing to move right now, I'm gonna see if he's willing to just look at me and say, oh, right, you're still here. And then once he does that, I'm going to move in and give him a little bit of affection. I know you're still thinking so hard about how this is going. Yeah. Mesh. Yep, I'm going to count that. I'm going to count that, sir. That's it. That's all we're doing. Yeah. Yeah. You willing to investigate it? Yep, good boy. That was good. That was good boy. So the other skill that we used this marker to build is what's called a target. And once he was really comfortable and confident with me, I would just show him my hands. And if he was so inclined, if he was in the mood, he would approach them and touch them with a body part. The perfect picture of a hand target is for you to show your dog your palm, and they're going to move towards it and touch it with their nose. That is the perfect image of a hand target. That's what we want to see in our obedience dogs, our high intensity, super drivey, super confident, motivated dogs. Today, any body part counted. I know you're thinking so hard. You're thinking so hard about it. That's fine. That's fine. So this is Mash. I'm sorry, we had a cash here earlier this morning. This is Mash saying no. And this is the other topic that I wanted to address in the video, because when you are working with a dog that struggles with confidence or with anxiety, you have to respect their no. Because his yeses were very clear. He got wiggly, he got prancy, he was bouncing up on me, jumping up to say hi. He was bouncing back when I was moving away. He'd prance towards me and get a little wiggly and goofy. And he also was leaning into affection. This is a completely different dog. This is a dog that is uncomfortable with the space that we're in, or with the moves that I'm making, or the fact that I'm talking way too much. Something has triggered him to be uncertain and unsure, and so he is saying, please do not interact with me. I would rather have my distance and my space. Oh, but you're curious about the noises outside. That's good, man. Mashy. Yep, good boy. Good job. That's all we need to do. That's all we need to do. You'll also notice that I have him off leash for this video. And the reason for that is because his leash was actually the biggest trigger of anxiety for him today. During our session, the minute I brought this out and started trying to put this on him, that was when we saw this freeze. So he was bouncing around, he was having a great time, we were having fun, moving towards each other, successfully targeting the hand with any body part. And then I grabbed the leash because initially my goal was to try and introduce some loose leash movement, because I know one of your goals is to help him walk nicely for you. And as soon as he saw this leash in my hand, he turned back into this. So this prompts a couple of questions that I want you to think about at home. Where do you go once you put this leash on him? Like, what do you do with him once you put the leash on? Is this only his leash, or does Sky, I believe is the other dog's name, does she also use this leash? Are you using this leash to pull him anywhere? Are you using it to try and pull him through doors? Are you using it to try and pull him into the car? When do you put pressure on this leash? When does he put pressure on this leash? And how can we work around this now generalized anxiety about this specific leash? Because it is this specific leash. I tried with a nice pink little clip lead, and he was totally fine with that one. We tried one of our green slip leads. He was totally fine with that one. It was the blue leash. Can I put this one on? Wow, we're moving. Wow, a good man. Yep, good boy. It was that blue nylon leash that caused him to freeze up after we saw his nice bouncy, loose and fun-loving self earlier. I'm going to send you a couple of a couple of links with other leash options that would actually work really well for this harness. I tried just using the handle on the harness, and he was totally fine with that. He actually moved more readily with a hand just on that harness than he did with any kind of leash tether. So I'm going to show you a couple of other soft lead handle options that are a little bit taller and will sit a little bit higher in length, so that you're not having to hunch over to try and grab that handle. But that is a good first step to help reintroduce the concept of walking and moving together with him. And then we can ease back into a longer line as we introduce other behaviors like loose leash engagement, some engagement in general, and get him a little more confident working with me. So now that he's a little more curious, Mash Man. Yep, that's it. I just wanted to capture one successful target behavior. He's giving me kisses now. We're a little more comfortable with ourselves and with me. So what I'm using for our hand target at this point is I'm putting both hands together and just holding them open for him to approach and touch with his body. That's so good. Thank you for being curious and sniffing. I would encourage you to do that when you need to get his harness put on, when you want to give him affection. Instead of going to him and just putting your hands on him, hold out your hands and wait for him to move to you as an indication that he wants affection. because this is his biggest motivator. But if he's not comfortable with the situation, he's not going to want someone all up in his business, giving him the love and attention that he really deserves. Yes, thank you. Yes. So this is an opportunity for him to give consent, and you can mark for that consent with and then provide him with affection briefly before offering it again, seeing if he's still in the mood for some more love and attention. If not, walk away. Good boy. And if he moves with you, that's another marking opportunity. The fact that he's now more readily engaging with me and seeking out this attention. This is what we saw first as an indication of confidence here. So as I said at the beginning of the video, no miracles are going to happen on day one when you're working with an anxious dog that lacks confidence. But you want to see signs of progress. And what I saw today was a curiosity about him. He was willing to go and investigate things and people and the space in general. He is motivated by physical affection. That was the other thing I wanted to see, is what he enjoys, and he does enjoy physical affection. And we also learned one of his stress triggers, and that is this leash that he has. So those 3 things you can take home with you this week. Introduce the hand target for physical affection as an indication of consent, to help him realize that he does have choices, because he's been through a really big change this year. And the older dogs get, the longer it takes for them to adapt to big changes, like moving from different states and getting a larger family's household and having another dog in the house that they have to interact with and read and communicate with. So giving him the choice to say, yes, I do want affection, or no, I'd rather not, is step 1 in helping him understand that he has some ways to advocate for himself in the midst of all of this change. He can tell you what he's comfortable with, and then you can reward him for that communication. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions about this video, about the hand target itself, about when and how to implement it. And I will look forward to seeing him next week so that we can get some loose leash etiquette started, and also introduce what's called long line work. I think another option that we have for him is giving him more leash to work with, so that he has the option again to go and explore and build space between you and him as a tether. So we're going to work on that next week. For today, the hand target, use that marker for anything that he does that you like. So if he sits when you tell him to sit, you can say yep and let him know that was a good choice before you move to give him a cookie or give him some affection. If he comes to you or looks at you when you call his name, yep, good boy, you can give him some affection after marking, or see if you can give him a cookie if he's willing to take a cookie. Yep. If he chooses to move towards you, that's another marker moment. Yep. And give him some love and affection. Good boy. Yeah. All right. You did so good. Look at that big old shake off. I love that.